All aboard!
That Michael Rubin, he knows his way around a harmonica. I ain't lying. That's a quote from Charlie Musselwhite on the back of his new CD that I have in hand. Today we're going to talk about the release date and how you can get your hands on a copy of Michael Rubin's CD. It says, I'll worry if I want to. So let's get into the interview right now. We've arrived in Jamestown. Okay, hi everybody. I am here today with Michael Rubin, and no, we've talked before, and he's been working on his first CD release, and it is coming out, and it is fabulous. So let's get started. How do you feel about such a big achievement, sir?
I'm really excited. I've over the years I've been in a lot of bands, and we've put out CDs where I'm featured on it. And one time I put out like a collection of sidemen work that I did. But this is the first time that I've put out my own solo album where I write the tunes and I play and sing. And really, you know, obviously I had to delegate some things. I can't play guitar, so I had to hire somebody to play guitar. But the sheer amount of work that went into this, I'd never seen anything like it before, and so I'm real proud that it's that I've completed it and that it's going to be. Some people have already got the hard copy of the CD, but the actual release is April 29th. So I'm, very excited that people are going to get a chance to hear this.
That is
Thanks for having
exciting.
me.
Oh, you bet. Excuse me. That is exciting news, and what an accomplishment I that you've achieved, because it looks easy when you plop a CD in and listen in your car and you're going down the road and you're enjoying the tunes, but there's so much that got that there to you. And so you got to get on the ground floor and do that, and that is a great achievement. It's adorable too. I mean, I'm sure you don't want someone using that uh, phrase about your CD as being adorable, but I just love the artwork. It is. It's adorable. And the picture that you have on the back, that's priceless. That
thank,
just says it all right there. So good
thank you
job
very
on that
much.
part from a graphic
Yeah, the
artist here.
the picture was taken by my co-producer of the CD. I produced it with, but the main producer is Josh Fulero, and he took that picture. And we'll talk more about Josh, I'm sure. But the drawing on the front, I'm a cartoonist, and I gave my graphic artist kind of a rough draft of what I wanted it to look like, and he came up with that. And so if you haven't seen it, the album is called "I'll Worry If I Wanna," and it has a picture of me uh, uh, trying to meditate, but it's not working out so well, and I'm pulling out my hair. And there's a couple of much more relaxed people in the background. Um, One of them is getting slightly bothered by my botheration. And anyway, so Dan Grissom drew that, and Dan is an Austin artist who is in my band, the McMurcy Family Band, and he actually sings backup on a couple of the songs. But Dan is a real famous artist. He's done work for Metallica and Weird Al Yankovic, and his work is everywhere in Austin. If you live in Austin, you know his work.
Well, then I'm glad I find it quite charming and good.
Yeah.
Proves I have good taste. Haha. That's awesome. I do. I really like it. Uh, you are in a phenomenal place where music's happening and you're involved deeply in a lot of stuff. So cutting out the time to do such a large endeavor had to also be a task for you.
Well, considering COVID has pretty much knocked my gigs down to nearly nothing, that that wasn't such a big deal. It was actually a great time to be creative because there was so little gigs. Um, but I have a full time teaching career, teaching harmonica privately, and so it definitely, there were, as a harmonica teacher, when you take a day off, you don't get holiday pay. And so, probably between rehearsals and actual recording, there was probably around 10 days that I had to take off to make this happen. And so be it. I'm,
Well, I'll
you know,
tell
it's,
you, you've got wonderful testimonies from your students and people that have studied under you. I believe there's some written insight here, but honestly, the reception of your podcast in my site and on social media pays testament to your students really appreciating you and needing you there. So I'm sure that's part of the sacrifice that they paid a little bit for this to be done, and I think they're okay with that, you know.
yeah, I think they're okay. I hope they know I appreciate them very much.
Oh, I think
You
they
know,
do. The COVID hitting the music scene has been a tough one all over and for everyone. So we all can appreciate that work in the industry and that gig. We lost so many, and they're slow at coming back. I booked one today, and it's just been like nothing compared to before. However, I'm hopeful that it's changing. It seems to be mellowing out a little bit as we reach herd immunity, I guess, and we have more treatments. We got the COVID here. It was tough, and
sorry.
yeah, we got the Omicron, the whole house. So we were all pretty sick at the same time, and it took a couple weeks. It had 3 or 4 rough days, and then it just kind of little things lingered, and it's gone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm grateful that we were all okay.
My children got it, but it really didn't affect them very much, and the grown-ups in the house did not. Um, but of course, many family members. I've got some people who are really affected by it. It's. I don't want to diminish anybody's experience.
Yeah,
It's been a tough time for a lot of people.
it certainly has, and we wouldn't by in no means do that. And I think we've got a lot of things that are tough in the world, especially right now, and we seem to be coming through difficult times as always in life. And music is a healer, and it really is helpful and necessary, and more now than probably ever. So I think it's a good time to release a CD, and it's a good time to get back out there and start playing music. I see you posted that you have an interesting thing next. This is probably going to air after that, but you have a nice thing going on Tuesday. Um,
Yeah, Tuesday is going to be March 8th, and it's the Austin Music Awards. So, just like most major cities, we have kind of our own personal Grammys. And and so I'm going to be performing in two situations there, and hopefully it's a real special night. You
oh,
know,
it will be. I've noticed that people are just antsy to get out, and so
sure.
the things that we've done, they've been bigger than they were before because everyone wants to be out amongst the music and the people and just dress up and celebrate. I it's so fun. I watch and you're a great MC as well. You host at Spa, you host an evening of music, and you do a great job. You're so charismatic, and you do a wonderful job at that as well. So you have a lot of talent,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
I just want you to know that we appreciate you and what you're doing. And I'm so happy for
Very
you. I
much.
was listening, and I have to tell you, there's a lot of in the harmonica world. It, I think that harmonica players can identify different harmonica players, even if they're playing similar styles, and you can hear the influence of things, and you can hear your own thing. And we kind of influence each other. So I noticed in a lot of your tunes, I could hear influence of maybe a different player, but yet your own spin on it. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
great.
And I
Sure. Do you?
yeah. Yeah, don't you think? I mean,
Yeah.
you go, oh, that's so and so. And I take pride in that if and now I've got Julio doing it when we're out riding in the car, and he'll start trying to identify him. And I go, I think you're right. And I think that's important with harmonica because it is our voice. It is our breath. And so I did notice that in listening, and I have to tell you, I fell in love with the rodeo song.
Oh, Old Rodeo Dreams. Yeah,
I love it.
that's great. So it's kind of a country song. It's the most country song on the album, and we got a pianist who really specializes in country piano to help us out. Her name is Emily Gimble, and she has a great history in country music. Her grandfather is Johnny Gimble, the fiddle player. So in any case, yeah, it's that song. I used to work with a singer songwriter whose family was in the rodeo, and so he told a lot of rodeo stories, and so I kind of started off writing that song for him, and that then it kind of became about having dreams in life, such as music, that very difficult dreams to actually achieve a brass ring with, but that you can't really let these dreams go. They stay with you even if you have to experience them in a smaller way than you might have fantasized about when you were a teenager. Um, and there's there's some sadder meaning that I've connected to it over. My mom passed away in May of last year, and I couldn't get out to see her because of COVID.
Mm.
And I had just had my second shot, and the doctor said, "Don't worry, she's got 6 months to live. You'll go see her in 2 weeks. It'll be fine." And then she died a couple of days later. So when
Right.
when I sing the part in Old Rodeo Dreams about those long 8 seconds, they bucked me off. To me, I kind of connected to that situation. So the song has some special meanings to me that may not be for everybody. But yeah.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
I'm glad you like the song.
No, I feel it. I'm one of those people that connect deeply. I've always been that child, that connected deeply, and it felt special to me. And I can relate because I wrote a song, "Dusty Roads," and my mom had passed. And the first time I tried
Mm.
to perform that live, I cried, and
Oh, I'll
I've
bet.
never done that in public, and I had to stop, which I never do. But it touched everybody to where they hugged me, and it was great. And then I went back to the show once I figured it out. So each song that you write is a deeper meaning of your breath, just as your harmonic playing is your breath, your life force. And that there's no deeper connection than your mother to your personal life force, is it's a deeper connection, and it's a heavy loss. And I'm sorry, but I'm from a town called Rodeo. So that too, probably I like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they're
Old
fun.
Rodeo Dreams.
Yeah. And I'll tell
Nice.
you, Julio listened with me, and he's like, "Oh, I hear echoes of Mr. Estrin in there. There's humor, and listen to
Ah.
that." So we're going to listen to Old Rodeo Dreams. It's number 3 on the CD. I'll worry if I wanna.
I was riding straight to the top. Those long 8 seconds, they bucked me off. But I can't let go of them old rodeo dreams. I went to the ocean, looked out to the sea. I couldn't see nothing in this world for me, but I can't let go of them old rodeo dreams. a busy, busy place. It probably doesn't know my name. So busy. But I helped the universe up when it was down. Shouldn't it do me the same? It's only fair. No matter how things seem, there's no meaning to these dreams. But I can't let go of those old rodeo dreams.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, definitely Rick Estrin, is a national treasure, especially in the harmonica world. And when I was a teenager, I went to college in Sonoma, which is very close to Sacramento, where Rick lives. So he would come through town around once every 3 months, and I would go to see him. And he was always very kind and let me backstage and listen to my playing and give me little free lessons. But really, one of the main things he did was, at the time, the Nightcats were extremely popular. The place would be packed to the gills. And I was convinced that being a harmonica player singer was the hippest thing you could do with your life. And then, his lyrics were so funny. And it really convinced me that having humor in your blues was a really good thing. And so hopefully people like the humor in these songs, and hopefully I love the way that Rick does it, but hopefully they see that I do it a little different way.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, there's absolutely no one that is going to imitate anyone perfectly, even little Walter. Everybody tries to emulate little Walter, but they're not little Walter. And the highest
Right.
compliment is that we all aspire to try to achieve as greatly. And that's the personal thing about when you do your own CD, that you're putting it out there for the world. It's your music, it's brand new, no one's heard it, but they may hear a flavor of something because of your influence and what you're trying to achieve there with the humor, which you've got in here. It's pretty funny. You got the Kama Sutra girl and you got the beer belly baby, which on your cartoon looks like you got a little one starting there.
Oh yeah. 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 Well, I don't think Dan, the guy who drew the cartoon, was aware of this, but when I sing Beer Belly Baby, I can roll my stomach, and there's always a moment when I pull up and I show my stomach and I roll, and you can't see that on the album, So I feel kind of like when he put that on the cartoon in the front, there was a little connection there that he didn't know about, but I did.
Yeah, I caught it here. I look at it, go,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And both of those tunes and Little Rabbit, so Little Rabbit, Kama Sutra Girl, and Beer Belly Baby have, I wrote all those tunes when I was in my early 20s, and there have been rewrites, in the last 30 years, but those tunes have stood me really well, and if I only have one song that I'm allowed to sing in a performance situation, I almost always will choose Beer Belly Baby because people love that song. And
Yeah.
so,
and that's the thing is you'll get, once your CD's out there, people are going to yell up at you, Beer Belly Baby,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, back to Rick Estrin and the Nightcats. They are celebrating the life and the music of little Charlie Beatty at Thursday, March 10th. It's sold out. It's at Harlow's in Sacramento. And so they are giving tribute to their past in that. And I'm sure it's going to be a great show. I don't get to see it. I'm going to be in Monterey. But I just thought I'd add that because it kind of goes back to what you're talking about, the big influence of them and their past as well as now, and being an example of blues doesn't have to make you cry. It can make you laugh till you cry. So that's a good approach for sure. So what is your advice to as someone aspiring to make their own CD now that you've done the whole process?
Well, I think the core of what you're doing is songs, right? And so you could put out an album of all covers, and people do. You'll buy a harmonica player's album, and it's 10 Little Walter songs. But to me, Little Walter will always do Little Walter songs better than I will. And so having original music is very important to me. And the song really matters. And, when you, certain guys, and when I say guy, I mean men or women. That's just a
I get
loose
it.
term
I
for
always
me.
work with the guy. I'm one of the guys.
Yeah,
I get you.
yeah. So certain harmonica players, when you listen to their album, it's somebody takes a solo and then you sing 3 verses, and then somebody takes a solo, and then it's the end of the song. But you listen to other people, and there's a melody on the harmonica at the beginning and the end of the song. There's a bridge. There may be a chorus, right? Things that make songs actual songs, as opposed to just playing the 12-bar blues progression for 3 minutes and everybody gets a solo and you sing a couple of verses and you're done. So to me, that would be the main thing I would really think about is you're not just trying to fill up an hour's worth of music. You're trying to make good songs. And when it comes time to take a solo, you're not just trying to show everybody that you're the greatest harmonica player in the world. You're trying to play a solo where the music you are making has a connection to the song. So getting that under your belt, I think, is the main thing, So what I would do is I would set aside time every day to write songs. And in order to come up with the 10 or the 9 songs you hear on the album, I probably wrote around 50 to 100 really terrible songs. And then these songs were good. So, you have to allow yourself to be bad and just keep on writing and set aside time for writing. Just like you set aside time to practice harmonica, you have to set aside time for writing. Once those songs come into place, what I did is I had a guitarist who I paid to record the backing tracks of that song, and then I used a program called the Amazing Slow Downer, where I was able to speed it up or slow it down and change the key. And I would make recordings of me singing and playing harmonica. And so if you look at my poor iPhone, there's probably 3,000 recordings that led to the versions of the songs that you hear. And then I suggest you find a producer, somebody who knows more about this stuff than you do, right? And find the right musicians and find the right place to record and to master. So to me, that moment of finding the right producer, and Josh Fulero was a great producer. To me, that's it's a very big part of it. All right, I guess that's my advice.
So find a producer and write a bunch of terrible songs to get that good one. I think we can relate to that. I just did a podcast with Charles Baroth, and his CD is mostly original as well. I don't know if you listened to the podcast, but
I've definitely heard that album. It's great.
Yeah, it is, and he's a fun
Yay,
guy.
Charlie Barat.
He is, yay, Charlie. And he said similar things. We talked about. I have an iPhone as well, where I'll get a hook, and I've filled up several iPhones, and they're still in there for the day that I get a chance to sit down and work them out. But that, and then theory, understanding music, understanding songwriting, because there's different skill sets there. There's different degrees there. I mean, if you think, like you said, a 12 bar that has a certain formula that works for a reason and people use it. But then there's other things like a chorus and then a bridge and a hook that's in the chorus and then something that grabs and tells a story. And I studied under in School of Berkeley online songwriting with Pat Peterson, and I had to write songs and turn them into him, and it was tough. It was every day I had to get in there and pull stuff out of your hat, and it isn't that always that easy to get the formula right, like you said. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to go do a CD tomorrow. This took years. It didn't just pop out of your hat. It really takes dedication and years of doing and writing and figuring it out. And yeah, so that end of it, like you say, is do that work and then get a producer. And you're
Yeah.
lucky you're in a place where you've got great musicians and producers and you're just in the heart of everything. And that's so awesome. We have people here, singer-songwriters that have hired producers, and that some of them have moved here from bigger areas where they were quite well known, but due
Yeah.
to the situations, they moved here. So we're lucky on a lot of fronts here. That we have a lot of people that have gravitated to this area and are singer-songwriters. So you can, believe it or not, get a good array of musicians in a tiny area. But it's hard to make it. It's like some people do and some people don't. What exactly the formula is there is hard to figure, because there's amazing talent out there, as we all know, that don't make it for whatever reason, and it's a tough business.
Yeah. In terms of the business side, what I really recommend people do is to set goals and to start very small and say, first off, talking about advice for making it as a musician, I think the first thing you have to do is decide what is acceptable music work for you. So for some people, for example, teaching would not be acceptable, but for me it was. So you decide what you're willing to consider music work. And then I think making goals is the big deal. So, on your first month, you might say, I'm going to make $50 at music. And if the last day of the month comes and you haven't made $50, it's time to get a guitar case and go down to the corner of the busiest street and play your music until you have $50. Make that goal. And then the next month, raise the goal. So you're making $100 the second month. And you just keep raising. And after a while, you have figured out many, many different ways to make money at music. And then, you have a career.
And that exposure and doing is the best teacher, because you're actually out there learning and doing. I think you have to be brave too.
For sure. For sure. There are so many things in this world telling us that you can't make it as a musician. And a lot of those things, although my family was always very supportive, they were extremely scared, and the fear showed. I saw it. My both my parents were like, whatever you want, we support you, but they were nervous, and so I really had to trust that I had what it took to make it happen, and I think that message that you can't make it in life as an artist is a very widespread message in the world, and I think it's completely ridiculous. There are so many artists in the world who have made a living doing what they're doing, and there's absolutely no reason why you can't be one of them.
Well, exactly. I'm in charge of a large public art project with other artists, And we got the money to pay them. And you would be surprised at the excuses as why we shouldn't be paying them that they make. And I stop and say, you deserve this. I want to make sure this happens for you. Even on any level, if you have to believe you are worth the pay. You honestly have to believe that. And that's not an easy thing when the world's telling you it's impossible. But it, I'm proud of myself because I'm I have made a living at my art and I do continue to. And that's rare. That's rare. And it was just pure determination and not going to give up and just keep going. And you get knocked down, you get back up. And that's with everything in life, but with art and music, it's especially hard. And it does carry that burden of approval by the universe and by people in the world. And so,
There's yeah,
so true.
there's so many there's so many connotations about what money means in our society. But one of the connotations I think is the most accurate is that passing the money from one hand to another is our way of showing respect for another person. And so it is the very unusual situation, and it generally has to be a charity situation where I will work for free. And I don't necessarily need a lot of money, but I need a sign of respect. And it's as simple as that. And uh, every now and then I'll work with a student, for example, who'll cancel a class last minute, and I'll say, "Oh, that's fine, but please pay me for my time." And they'll try and give me trouble about it. Most of the time they're fine, but they'll try and give me trouble about it, and I'll let them know, well, that's fine. We don't need to work together. And they are amazed at how quickly I just say, okay, you don't want to respect me. That's fine. We are separating,
I understand
and
that. Yeah.
and it's as simple as that. It's to me that's what money mostly is about. It's a symbol of respect. And as an artist, you deserve respect. Your
And
time is
I want to
valuable.
take this moment to thank you very much for donating to my fundraiser for where we
Oh, you're
were.
welcome.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I felt the kindness and the respect. And I agree. It is a matter of showing that you appreciate what you got from that person, and in the form of art, music, or anything that they have taken the time to learn and to bring to you. It's a lot of work. And so, though you love it, you have to draw that line, and it is a matter of respect. So I have that code in my life as well. So thank you. I want to thank you for the fundraiser, and I want to thank you for your time here today, because people listen to this and they get advice and they probably will make decisions based on that advice. And it's good, hard learned advice, you know? So back onto your CD. What song? I know this is a strange question to ask, but what song do you maybe like the most or feel the most about the words? I mean, I don't know if you can do that with your songs because you probably love
Sure.
all of them.
Okay. I do love all of them. Probably just in terms of the way the song turned out as a song. I love the title song. I'll worry if I wanna. I just, I love the singing. I love the guitar solo. I love the harmonica solo. Just the feeling of the song in general. The guitarist throughout is so good. Mike Keller used to be with the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and I really thought about calling the CD "Mike Keller Plays Guitar" because he's just so good. Um, but in any case, to me, the song that has the deepest meaning for me is "Chain Letter Blues," which is a slow blues that talks about receiving a chain letter as a child, and this actually happened to me. And I was very upset because I was worried that if I didn't send it off, I was going to get bad luck. And I asked my mother for advice, and she wouldn't give me advice. she said, you have to make your own choice about whether or not you believe that this letter will get you bad luck if you don't send it off. And I think in the end, I didn't send it off, but I was very, very worried. But at the end of the song, the mother in the song, who was not, this is not what my mother actually did. My mother was not interested in what we're going to talk about now. At the end of the song, the mother says, it's time to go to church, time to go to Sunday school, because if you don't believe in what the church says, you're going to have eternal punishment. And to me, the evidence for that is as much evidence as there is for a chain letter causing bad luck. And personally, I'm fine with anybody's religion. I think it's great. If you found something that helps guide you through this life, that's the wonderful thing. But I have deep concern about indoctrination through fear, especially with children involved. And so that's what that song's about. It's not really my way of saying religion is bad. I don't think religion is bad. It's my way to say indoctrination through fear is bad.
I agree with that completely. I got that chain letter too as a kid, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but my dad was a salesman, and he told me, "Oh, don't worry, it's just a pyramid scheme. Throw it away." And he'd always tell me.
Yeah.
So we're talking about your CD here, and we're talking about the philosophy of some of the songs that are salt and peppered with the past in your life, and how you want to portray yourself. Really, when you think about that, you don't want to live in fear. You want to live in hope, and you want to live in love, and you want to live in peace, and all the things that we all really want here on this planet of ours. And so that one is Chain Letter Blues. That's great. I gave everything a once through this morning, because I just got my CD, everybody, yesterday when I was getting off of work. And so I want to give it a deeper listen. But I got to tell you another one that stuck out in my head with the words too, is because I love this. Can we break up again?
Yeah. That's a great one. And that song took me 30 years to write, because I just couldn't find the correct approach to have it make sense. And I finally realized that it was about a guy who was angry about the breakup with his recent ex-girlfriend, because she's had arguments about his misbehavior that he just didn't think was fair. And so he wanted to break up again so he could tell her his side of the story. And as he tells her his side of the story, it becomes clear that he's really not the best boyfriend, and it was time for him to go. So for example, he says, you call me irresponsible, but the kids like that extra hour at school. And, things like that. So it's a cute song. I think there's another one I like in there where it says something like, I talked politics at your work party. I did. Your boss needed to be told. And, so it's a fun song. And once I found the way to approach it, it came pretty easily. But I must have tried 10 different approaches, because I loved the line, can we break up again? But I just couldn't figure out how to make it work. And so I'm glad I did. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, you did. And that was another thing on the songwriting course when I was taking that, is that it needs to tell a story. It needs to be a good story, and it needs to resolve itself. I've written some songs and had them critiqued, and it's like, well, I didn't quite understand this part because I hadn't resolved it in the song. You got to come back and rework it and get it so that the story is complete. and it resolves, and yours, that one's fun. I was sitting there listening going, oh man, I can think of all kinds of things I could have said. So it puts you in the space as the listener in the first person. You're all of a sudden, you're relating to it, you're understanding the perspective, and you can see how you would have handled it. That is, I think, a key to writing songs, is to get your audience to where they relate as if it were themselves. Don't you, in a way, think that's important?
And definitely. And I think that having a point of view in the song, I was an English major, and we talked a lot about, the narrator, and is the narrator omniscient? Is the narrator a character in the story? How much does the narrator know, and what is the narrator believe happened, and what actually happened? Maybe two different things, And,
yeah, great writing. It just keeps you engaged instead of whatever. It keeps you right in there, and that's an important factor, and it's not that easily achieved. I mean, like you said, 30 years.
Right.
And, yeah.
For one song.
Boy, we're having a good time here at this interview, I'll tell you. It's always a pleasure. We're going to play now Can We Break Up Again by Michael Rubin off of his CD. It's number 5.
Hello, baby. Can we break up again? Hello, baby. Can we break up again? 'Cause there's something on my mind I wished I'd said back when. You said a grown man should own a car. What are you doing to save the planet? You got mad when I swore in church. Well, at least I said, God damn it, I didn't put the groceries in the fridge. I didn't want them to get cold. I talked politics at your work party. I did. Your boss needed to be told. Hello, baby. Can we break up again? 'Cause there's something on my mind I wished I'd said back when. I always stole the covers. I was helping you keep cool. You call me irresponsible, but the kids like that extra hour at school. I never cleaned the house. Then how come it was always clean? I wasn't trying to be rude to your mama. I was trying to be mean. Hello, baby. Can we break up again? 'Cause there's something on my mind I wished I'd said back when. Tell you I love you? What about that one time when we were first dating? I didn't pay my half of the bills? What part of the patriarchy are you perpetuating? Our relationship should have been the one place neither felt we had to compete. When we're done breaking up this time, you're gonna know the agony of defeat. Hello, baby. Can we break up again? 'Cause there's something on my mind I wished I'd said back when.
Oh, so you're going to be having this published, as you said, in the end of April. And
April 29th is the release date.
how
So it'll be
fun.
streaming on all the regular platforms. But if you want a hard copy now, you can or then you can contact me at michaelrubinharmonica@gmail.com, and I'll tell you how to get the money to me. And it's $15 for a copy in the continental U.S. and I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful to have a hard copy of things. I lose things in my computer, on my downloads, and I had some problems with computers, and then I lost all this music, but fortunately I backed it up. So I got hard drives out because I have a lot of harmonica stuff because people send me, and I had the radio and I do the podcast. So I get a lot. And I sat there and put them all in and then lost them. And then, oh, no worries. I have the hard copy in my hand. And plus, what better way to really have something is hard copy, even though we are in a world of digital, and digital's great. I'm not discouraging downloading tunes. I'm just saying get your hands on this hard copy. So I'm going to include the link to all that after I release this, before his release, which we're doing this in March. That's why we have talked about a few events that are happening around in March. But so when you're hearing this, you won't get to actually go to those events, but that's okay because more will happen. Also, visit him, and for lessons, you do Skype lessons, correct? Or Zoom?
Definitely. Whatever platform you use, I use them all. So yeah, lessons for me are kind of a mind, body, spirit experience. We talk about how to choose good sounding notes, and we talk about how to physically play the harmonica, and we talk about how to build a philosophy so that you have an opinion on what good and bad music means to you that can help direct you to find your own style. So I really try and have a very holistic approach to the lessons.
And you can hear that, everybody, on this CD. You can hear very, very many different styles of harmonica and playing. I think on the cow, Milk Your Own Cow, you're playing a whole bunch of harmonica parts, even animal parts.
Yeah, I play I play two harmonicas. The opening is a double low F harmonica played through an amp and a microphone, and in the middle because it's all about cows, and then so in the middle I shout out, "What do you think about it, chickens?" And then I kind of do a chicken scratch kind of solo. It's on a low F harmonica, but it's in first position on the high part of the harmonica, kind of like Jimmy Reed.
Yeah, I noticed that. The low harmonicas like that are really great to go on up to that high end. And a lot of people don't do that. I don't think so. Yeah, I didn't know that. I had listened and I didn't know you were up at the high end on that, on your low harmonica. But I have a song I do in low harmonica, low F, and it's in the middle. So it doesn't really sound like a low F, but it's a
Right.
nice sound. I think the tunings on the low harps are really nice and fun to work
For
with.
sure.
And you get different effects like you did in that song, and in all of them. You're playing chromatic as well in some, or
I play chromatic on, I think, 4 out of the 9 songs. The very last song is an instrumental, which it's called Fourth Coast. So it's on a C harmonica, but it's in the key of A. So that's called fourth position on a harmonica. So that's why the song is called Fourth Coast. It's a 16-hole chromatic, and I play through an amp. So, shifting the microphone to be over the correct area of, where I'm playing was challenging. And then on Can We Break Up Again, I use a special chromatic called a bebop tuned chromatic. And so what you do on a bebop tune, normally 4 blow and 5 blow are both the note C,
Mhm.
And so on a bebop tune, chromatic 4-blow becomes B flat, and 4-blow with the button becomes B. And this really enables you to easily play a bebop scale, which is C D E F G A, B flat B C. So very easy to play that. But it also enables you to play more combinations of double stops. Double stops mean when you play two notes at the same time. So on a regular chromatic, the blow notes are C, E, G. And so you could combine C and E and G, and G and C. Now we've got C, E, G, B flat, and we can add three more double stops, C and B flat, E and B flat, and G and B flat. And then the same thing goes up a half step when you push the button in. And so what you're able to have is 6 more double stops than you do on a standard chromatic. And so it really enables you to create the feeling that there's two melodies going in two separate directions at the same time.
Yeah, that's so interesting. You're noticing these things, and thank you for explaining because who knew? I mean, there's so much to know about harmonica, and people are like, well, it's just this little instrument. I'm like, no, it's very involved. There's so many tunings, there's so much to learn, there's so much to know. It's not a little toy. Uh, it's a very, very interesting um, instrument that a lot of creative people are doing really wild things with, and so you have to keep up with it. It's kind of evolutionary, I guess, is what's happening with it. It's ever changing, and people like yourself are understanding and teaching that, and it takes that. Everybody out there, it takes a good teacher to help you understand all of it. And in this album, he's got so much going on that you need to understand that it's taken him your life to teach and understand the instrument at the level that you do. So we appreciate
Definitely.
that. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
As I said, I know that your students just appreciate everything, and students when they actually get it and those little lights go on, then they're hungry for more, and you're doing your job.
It's a wonderful feeling when a student really gets something. There's no question about it. And, you know, but I also think that there's something to be said for allowing yourself not to necessarily get it and to say, music is not it's not a competition. It's not about winning. It's not about improving. It's about spending time in a musical situation and experiencing music. And so sometimes, I may work with somebody who has difficulty understanding what's going on with music, but I really believe that they are still getting something from it. They're getting to be in a musical situation, and a lot of people spend their life wishing that they could be in a musical situation, and they just don't understand how to make it happen. So I'm not, you don't have to come take lessons from me, but although I'd love it, but to put yourself in a musical situation, whether or not it's a lesson or a jam session or just picking up a harmonica and putting it in your mouth and making sounds, that there's something very special about music and that everybody deserves to have some music time in their life. And it doesn't have to be about becoming the greatest musician that ever was.
Boy, that's for sure. That's exactly why I have been hosting our singer songwriter open mic um, here in our local setting, because they come and they can get up, they get to learn how to be on stage. Um, they're always welcomed. It doesn't matter the degree or how good they are. We get some really great people that come in from all over because we've been doing it a while, and we get some very beginners, and that's the whole reason for doing it. It's not about a competition or who's going to win or who's going to get the most gigs or who's going to get the farthest. Of course, you need that drive. If you are going to get far, you've got to be somewhat ambitious if you're going to go out there and get as far as you want. but not everybody's game is that. Everybody's game could be not a game at all, just stress release or just for the love of it or because it's fun. Yeah, I agree 100% that giving people the opportunity to perform and see if it's for them or not, or see if they want to pursue it. It is because that desire's there. I think in everybody, I think that a lot of us say, because I teach and I have the kids and, and I do that myself as well as you do. And just having that opportunity. And I found they'll go home and if they get the bug, they'll go home and practice and start working on their songs. And we've had a lot of songwriters and people that have come through our open mic that now have produced a CD that they've got out there, and it's really cool. Yeah, it's part of why you probably it's part of the drive as a teacher.
And
I'm sure you have.
I think even the greatest musician, if you were to look at the first moment, there is a moment when either they heard somebody play music or they put an instrument in their hands or their mouth and they made a sound. And there was that first moment of, this is cool. And that's enough. That you could have, they could take it as far as they want in their life. But the starting point was of just pure appreciation for the wonder of music. And I would venture to guess that almost all professional musicians would have that same story. I know I do.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of people through the podcast, and it is a similar story. That the first time that they just, whoa, I was hooked. That's for me. And and some people are born into a family where there's just a lot of music around, and there's a lot of people in the family that play music, and that helps too. It gets you motivated, and because you did it for fun with your family, or you went to church and you sang a gospel song, and man, that was it. You heard Elvis and you went, whoa, I want to sing. So yeah, it is that first spark.
Yeah. I've let my daughters know that as long as they become professional harmonica players first, they can do whatever they want with the rest of their lives.
So. Right on. I agree. Go girls. We've got some talent out there in the little kids around the world playing harmonica. They're mind blowing, that little I watched them all. Pixie, exactly. She's had her birthday. Oh my gosh, she is too cute. Oh, that face.
She can really play, and
wow. She
can improvise, and she can read, and she can do jazz, classical, and blues. I'm really, really amazed. I think out of all the child prodigies I've seen, I think she's the strongest. And I remember first seeing her when she was like 5, and I shared one of her videos, and everybody said, this is lip syncing, she's not really playing. She just put a harmonica to her mouth while there's a recording. I said, no. Look at where the harmonica is in relationship to the note. Look at her cheeks blowing out at the correct time. It would take longer to learn how to lip sync than it would to play, And anyway, she's a wonder to me.
Oh, she's so cute. She that little face, they had her on the spa Zoom, remember? And you could see her and she'd pop up and it was just adorable. And her watching herself, it was just, priceless, just priceless. Yeah. That's kind of not your average for sure. You'd want to.
Very unusual.
Yes, it's very unusual, but awesome. And just a gift. And so we appreciate the gift. And we also know we don't all have that immediate gift with anything. We have to work at it. And yeah, so I can remember one time at a concert with David Barrett's master classes, and they had brought in a child prodigy there from Japan, and all the masters were up there on stage, and he came out and Howard Levy said, "It's always the kids." Yeah, fun stuff. Well, we're looking forward to hearing this. I'm going to play, if it's okay with you, a few songs in this
Oh,
podcast.
please.
And I try to make them, they've been getting lengthier lately when I'm doing these, but I try to keep them, at a certain time limit. But they're not having problems getting downloaded and listening to. So I think that people don't care how long they are at this
Yeah.
point. And so I'm really
Yeah.
pleased with that, and I'm happy for the audience out there. And I'm trying to bring in a few a month with my schedule. It's hard, but I'm trying, and I want to do them, and I want to consistently do them. And so Michael Rubin has been kind enough now to do several of these, and he's one of the most well received and downloaded that I have out there. So I appreciate your time on this, Michael, and I wish you all the best. And I thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for my copy. It's in my playlist, and sometimes I do podcasts without an interview, and I'll just do it on a subject or something. So is it all right with you from time to time if I use some of these?
Oh, please.
Okay,
Please.
good.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me on, and for having me on a few times. It's really helped me, so I really appreciate it. And
That is good.
you're the greatest.
You are too, sir. You have a good day. What a fun interview. I'm telling you, it's always insightful, and I learned so much talking with Michael, and I feel he really told us in depth about the process and his songs, and really, really, really fun stuff. And I'm going to leave us now with Fourth Coast. It's the last song on his CD, and he talked about that a bit earlier about the position in the harmonica. I learned a whole lot about the different types of harmonica that he has on this CD. So your hard copy's waiting, or your download, and the information will be below this podcast for you to be able to go and find that. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Harmonica Lady, and as always, enjoy local, regional, world music.